My name is Anna, and I'm a PhD candidate in the research group Configurations of Films at Goethe University in Frankfurt, and my paper is a work in progress of a chapter of my dissertation. And I'm just thinking about that, so it's not all laid out, but I gave it the lengthy title, Affective Reputation and Intermedial Remembrance, Fassbinder Reenactment in Enson's Peter von Kant. And as the title already suggests, I used the example of the 2022 released feature film Peter von Kant by French director François Ozon to argue that its Fassbinder reenactment is a practice of intermedial commemoration linked to Fassbinder's affective reputation. What I exactly mean by this, I will explain to you in the next following 20 minutes. So, since the conference takes place in beautiful Cluj in Transylvania, please bear with me that I couldn't resist to include some Dracula references. I start right away with the German film scholar Thomas Elsässer, who stated that posthumously, Fassbinder, I quote, has something of a Dracula figure about him, undead and unburied, haunting and vampirizing those who came after, passing on his bite in unsuspected ways. Indeed, one cannot help feeling that he has become a figure more monstrous, more phantasmagoric than when he was alive. Although Rainer Werner Fassbinder started his artistic career in theater and worked among other things as actor, producer, writer and director for both film and theater, he is foremost remembered as very productive and iconic West German filmmaker who directed over 40 films from the end of the 1960s until his untimely death in 1982 when he was only 37 years old. In Germany, Fassbinder is above all remembered as depicting Germany's 20th century history and of women's fates in it. Internationally, he also attained renown for being a pioneer of queer cinema due to the open thematization of his own sexuality, as well as including queer themes and protagonists in some of his films. In his obituary on Fassbinder, producer Günter Rohrbach consoled with the words, "Directors don't die as long as their films are alive." However, Elsässer argued that while Fassbinder's frequent film releases overshadowed everything else during Fassbinder's lifetime, after his death, I quote Elsässer here again, his lifestyle, as recalled, recorded and fantasized by his friends and lovers, caught the limelight and came in for mostly devastating scrutiny, unquote. So what keeps Fassbinder in this current undead state? His life, his death, his films, or maybe all of them? As Elsässer recalls, Fassbinder, I quote him again, practiced an unparalleled symbiosis between living and filming, loving and hating, working and dying, unquote. So maybe the same entanglement is true for his Remembrance. Enson's Peter von Kant truly represents such an entanglement of Fassbinder's work, his life and emotions. Since some of you might not have seen the film, I want to show you a short clip that introduces the main characters and the setting of Enson's film. I hope that works here. If not, we have to switch. Yeah.
Ami, Peter von Kant. Non mais Ami, j'ai fait le premier film il y a...
Je vous en prie, c'est vous. Excusez le désordre. Ah, ça ne me gêne pas. Café, thé, cognac. Cognac, bon tiens. Garde cognac, toi aussi, sinon.
Non, je n'aime pas bien.
C'est drôle. Je vous imaginais plus âgé. Pourquoi plus âgé? Quand on a autant de succès, et qu'on est célèbre, d'habitude les gens sont plus âgés.
Je suis l'exception qui confirme la règle.
Sorry for the stuttering, but I thought it would be fine for that's his 1 minute. I think you saw like the most obvious things to observe, and obviously the film's title relates to Fassbinders Die bitteren Tränen der Petra von Kant, The Bitter Tears of Petra von Kant, released in 1972. Starring Margit Carstensen as fashion designer Petra von Kant. You see her in the back. Sorry, not here, I see her. At the back of the poster, and Hanna Schigula as her lover and model Karin in front of her. The film The Bitter Tears of Petra von Kant was actually based on a theatre play with the same title written by Fassbinder that was first staged in Frankfurt by Per Raben in 1971. In 2000, also made a film based on a theatre play by Fassbinder, Tropfen auf heiße Steine from 1964, for which he used the same title. It was just literally translated to French as Gouttes d'eau sur pierre brûlante and to English as Water Drops on Burning Rocks. As a motivation for making both films, Anson said they were a personal homage to his German idol. So the first instance of affect here we can find in Anson's admiration of Fassbinder. Following Fassbinder's original, Anson's Peter von Kant is an intimate play, mainly set in one apartment and encompassing only 6 characters. In the clip we just saw, we already got introduced to the main characters, Peter von Kant, embodied by Denis Ménochet, his lover Amir, played by Khalil Garbia, and their mutual friend Sidonie, impersonated by Isabelle Adjani. We also saw Karl, played by Stéphane Crépon, in the background, serving them drinks. The 2 additional characters in the films are von Kant's mother Rosemarie, embodied by Hanna Schigula, and his daughter Gabrielle, played by Amint Odia. The central conflict of both Fassbinder's and Anson's films revolve around the main character with the last name von Kant, a successful artist who gets introduced to a younger person of the same sex that the artist finds attractive and therefore offers an artistic career. They work together and have an affair. However, as soon as success hits for the desired person, power dynamics change. Finally, the artist is left and indulges in an explosive emotional cocktail of desperation, self-pity, self-hate, and aggressive behavior. The most obvious difference is Anson's switch of gender. Additionally, Peter von Kant is not a fashion designer, but a successful filmmaker that promises Amir a role as an actor. On top of that, Anson is Anson and made the film in his own style. He explained in an interview that since different from his first Fassbinder adaptation of a theatre play, here a film already existed and he was not interested in doing a remake since he admires Fassbinder's version. However, since he regarded the bitter tears of Petra von Kant as a self-portrait of Fassbinder and his interpersonal relations at the time of making, he wanted to create something new by using the frame of Fassbinder's film and mixing it with Fassbinder's biography. Sorry. Yeah, I think there's one slide missing, but it doesn't matter. This, of course, portrayed through Anson's retrospective gaze that reflects, among other things, in his filmic characters and the choice of actresses and actors to impersonate them. Probably the most obvious example for this is German actress Hanna Schigula, who played Petra von Kant's lover Karin in Fassbinder's original, and whose fame as actress is highly associated with Fassbinder's work. Her aged body hints at her younger self, at her former roles in Fassbinder's films, and at the same time, and at the time that has passed since. Playing Peter von Kant's mother, she reminds us at the same time of Fassbinder's mother, Lieselotte Eder, who also frequently acted in his films. Anson's film is bursting of hints and citations, and I cannot give you my detailed interpretation of them in this limited time frame. However, what interests me most is that one actor unmistakably played a very specific role, Denis Ménochet. He embodied protagonist Peter von Kant as a bisexual, chain-smoking and drinking, sturdy, moody, and at the same time successful director with dark, short, messy hair and a beard. On the theatrical release of Peter von Kant in September 2022, film critic Philipp Stadelmeier commented in the Süddeutsche Zeitung, I quote my translation of it, Denis Ménochet is allowed to walk around in a black leather vest with a red shirt and to do a lot of coke. He gets a visit from an actress friend who reminds him and us that Kant alias Fassbinder was a great shining light as an artist and a great pig as a human, unquote. It seems as if Fassbinder, like the 15th century Wallachian voivode Vlad III Dracula, Bram Stoker's historical name inspiration for his 1897 novel Dracula, is at the same time remembered as a kind of national hero and sadistic tyrant. Additionally, as early as the end of the 16th century, the best-known portrait of Vlad III was created, which also relies on the color combination of red and black. While black has always been associated with darkness and night and thus with danger, red reminds us of blood, which stands for life as well as injury, pain, suffering, and death. As the blood-sucking hunter of the night, Dracula, as a fictional character and pop cultural icon, is also associated with the colors black and red, and often symbolized by a bat with leathery wings. In an interview, Menochet repeatedly compared his role not with Dracula, but with an ogre, a massive, a massive mythical undead monster. In an interview, Hannah Shigula said that Menochet playing von Kant confused her sometimes, because she was uncannily reminded of Fassbinder, although she was always aware that it wasn't him. A reclaiming of Fassbinder from the dead with the help of Menochet's body and specific costume mediated to a wider public via a fiction film. For this creative practice of public remembrance, I want to use the term reenactment. Originating from performance studies, it is used regarding popular cultural media practices of reenacting events and personalities of the past as an alternative process of remembrance. I feel that this is exactly what is happening in Peter von Kant, a practice of embodying and visualizing Fassbinder while not reproducing an original, but remediating and performing him in a material sensual reconstruction as a creative act, while being aware of the distance to the performed. Not a proper resurrection, but a haunting of the creative practices of Anson's writing and directing, and Menochet's acting. Vlad III's cruelty was real, but his reputation as a villain spread through 15th century Europe thanks to the printing press, whose rise coincided with his reign, explained an online article of National Geographic magazine. Fassbinder's reputation was not only spread through Europe, but through the whole world, and not only by the means of books, but by films by, with, about, or inspired by him, via pictures and video clips you can find online, via exhibitions, or even via fan-made Fassbinder t-shirts. I follow media and communication scholar Mark Eisenegger in defining reputation as valuation endowed to a person known to the public on an aggregated collective level via public medialized communication. According to Eisenegger, reputation is a three-dimensional construct, an entanglement of work, life, and emotions. Circling back to Stadelmayer's quote, Fassbinder's reputation as, I quote, shining light as an artist, would refer to his functional reputation. That means the aggregated evaluation of his professional performance. Being seen as a human pig would adhere to his social reputation, the evaluation of how he fulfills moral standards. By describing Menochet's reenactment, Stadelmayer refers to the third dimension, Fassbinder's affective reputation. This dimension is influenced by emotional and aesthetic attraction, appearance, and charisma, as well as the personal taste of the third parties evaluating the subject. In my view, this is the most powerful dimension. Informed by affect, it often goes unnoticed, but lends authenticity to the functional and social reputation. Productively resonating with affect theory, this declares affect, emotion, and feelings important and powerful components of public discourse. Posthumously, film and photographic recordings of Fassbinder's physical presence, as well as personal anecdotes, are particularly influential to spread affective reputation. And I would like to add the specific case of filmic reenactments. That add another level to it, since not Fassbinder or his lifestyle is reenacted, but as I argue, his affective reputation and the personal interpretation of it by the people involved in making the film. In the case of Peter von Kant, it is shaped by Anson's admiration of Fassbinder, his way of directing and writing the film, but also by Menochet's bodily appearance and his acting. It is also influenced by other factors, like the costume design, lighting, set design, filming, music, and by the co-actors. I should mention here that reenacting Fassbinder in a fiction film was not invented with Peter von Kant. In 2020, the year of Fassbinder's 75th birthday, Oliver Masucci embodied Fassbinder in Oskar Röhler's biopic Enfant Terrible. In the 120 Days of Bottrop by Christoph Schlingensief, released in 1997, we can see Mario Gassana as Fassbinder. And I think one of the most interesting examples might be A Man Like Eva by Radu Gabrea. It was released already in 1984, 2 years after Fassbinder's death. And Eva Mattes, who had her breakthrough as actress playing Petra von Kant's daughter in 1972, is reenacting Fassbinder. However, I chose to speak about Petra von Kant because I feel that it is the fiction film that had the most impact on Fassbinder's reputation. As in Flat the Impaler's case, the attribution of relevance was partly influenced by the right timing. 2022 marked the 40th anniversary of Fassbinder's death. The Bitter Tears of Petra von Kant premiered at the Berlinale Film Festival in June 1972 when Fassbinder had just turned 27. 50 years later, Enson's Petra von Kant had its world premiere as opening film of the same festival. At the same time, the 2022 edition of Berlinale was its first full-scale in-person event after 2 exceptional years due to the pandemic. Maybe also Enson's reputation as a filmmaker helped the film to be selected as opening film. Fact is that the film got into the focus of a broader public and influenced and spread not only Fassbinder's reputation, but at the same time Enson's and Menochet's that got through this film entangled with Fassbinder's. So in the end, unless Fassbinder is no blood-sucking parasite feeding off the efforts and reputations of others, not to be forgotten, but is offering a symbiosis. Same might be true of Andy Warhol's, of the appropriation of Andy Warhol's poster design for Fassbinder's last film Querelle for the cover of the DVD Blu-ray edition of Petra von Kant. Besides using the poster design, Querelle is cited in Enson's film with the song Each Man Kills the Thing He Loves that was based on a text by Oscar Wilde. I want to close my presentation with the notion that affect is powerful and that each human keeps the thing he loves alive, like Enson did with Fassbinder and his work, or at least he keeps it undead while circulating his reputation and memory. And this might be a good thing, because as Gary Oldman said as Count Dracula in Francis Ford Coppola's film, there's much to be learned from Beast. So thank you for your attention, and I look forward to your comments and questions.